Good afternoon, friends. Another day working on the 1958 Vespa. Figure I'll update you guys real quick on what's going on with this, and then we'll get into some of the work. Now, the other day, I had an issue with the carburetor. The carb slide would not slide into the carb body itself. So I ended up taking the carb back off of the bike, bringing it down to my buddy Steve's, and having them hone the body out just a little bit larger so that the new slide would slide properly inside the carb. So now that fits really well. It slides really nice. The throat of the body there looks really good. It's super clean on the inside, and now it slides like it's supposed to. I know that these things can kind of warp and they have a lot of issues. So with that known, I actually ordered another carburetor for this bike just in case I run into this problem again. I don't know the full condition of that one. It does look like it's in good shape. It says in working order. Obviously it's used and I won't know until I get it. It's coming from Italy, so I'm waiting on that. I have ordered, I believe, everything I need to get this thing back on the road. So that stuff is coming from Scooter Ricardo. I ordered everything I needed on Sunday. I should have it here either late today, tomorrow, or Friday. I'm not really sure. Their shipping's kind of a mess sometimes. They're great, don't get me wrong. They do a good job. It's not them, it's shipping. It's always shipping. It's not the shipper themselves, it's shipping. So I'm waiting on that. The tracking said it would be here today by this evening. Now I just got a text message that said it'll be here Friday. Its scheduled day was, tomorrow. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on. So it could be tonight, Wednesday, tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday, based on the text message. Not really sure. But my goals today are to get this headstock off so I can get ready to start running cables on this thing. I know I need to remove this. I know I need to pull the fuel tank again so I can get that mouse nest out of there. And I also want to spray the inside of the body here with some sort of rust inhibitor so it will not rust inside. And that's the hope, at least. So I want to get the fuel tank out anyway. It does need a new gasket, which I have on in the way. I do need the gasket for the fuel shutoff as well. So a couple things I need to work on. But anyway, the goal today is to get this head off, get this ready to be recabled. So I'll run you guys kind of through that process and show you exactly what you need to do to work on this type of an older bike. For me, one of the neatest parts about these is this unit here has a clip inside. I couldn't tell you what the names on all these parts are, so I would get them all wrong and call it a clip, and I know that's not what it is. But I'll show you that this is a two-piece setup, and it's just like a little hinge here, and it just works so well. So that allows you to get into the wiring here and to the cables. So now that I've got that off, I can actually see my cables in here. The clutch cable on the one side is snapped. I should be able to push the other one out based on that, I think, and the throttle cable. Once I get all those pieces out, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to loosen up this headstock here, and I should be able to pull, maybe not exactly sure. So we'll work on this a little bit, try to get a couple things undone. The goal is to be able to get this off of here today. I think there's enough cable in here that I should be able to kind of move some of this stuff around. These things are definitely frozen up, and they've been frozen up for a long time. I did spray the cables with a PB blast in hopes of being able to make some of these move and be able to use them while I was working on the bike, but unfortunately they sat for so long, they're in really bad shape, and they started breaking. There, it gives me the clutch side cable out. Should be able to pull this back far enough on the throttle side and do the same, I hope. There's that throttle side out. So that's all set there. I'm not 100% sure on how to get the clutch cable disengaged from everything. I think it's through the levers here. And of course I do have electrical wiring for the horn and the relay, the start switch and whatnot. So I probably am going to need to pull this cover too. I don't want to damage anything if I can help it. That pries off real nicely, thankfully. I'll move the camera around here and I'll show you the inside of the switch housing. It's pretty gross in there. As you can see, there's a lot of cobwebs in here, and the contacts are kind of covered in a lot of whatever, dust and grime and just really kind of grossness in there. So I do need to figure out how to get this apart so I can get the wiring unhooked from here. You know, the hope is to be able to pull that wire out of there, and I may have to label some of this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of fish around here and just try to figure this out so I don't damage that, because I don't want to replace that if I don't have to. The on-off switch does work. The horn probably works, but it is smashed, so I can't exactly see. I don't exactly know if it works right, but I need to get this undone, so I'm going to go ahead and work on that a little bit. There's one screw right in the middle here, so we're going to go ahead and unscrew that. See if that gives us a little bit of freedom. That does pull that whole housing. I've lost the screw now. Didn't want to do that, but I did drop it on the ground. At least it didn't go too far, and I do see it. Pull the cobwebs out of there. A mountain of ladybugs in there. I'll probably have to get the air compressor out and get those guys out of there. Now that I have this open, I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of the wiring. That way I have a point of reference for when I do put this back together. So I'm going to go ahead and undo these now. Got the top 3 wires out. Now I just need the bottom 3. So I'm going to attempt to kind of flip this over a little bit without ruining everything. All right, this is probably really hard to see. Hopefully this will focus well. But you can see there's little screws here that actually hold everything in place. This unit's in really good shape for what it is, and I was able to loosen all of the wires and pull it off properly. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to put this aside with the switch cover, and now as you can see, all the wiring is ready to be removed from this handlebar. So I'm going to go ahead and back that out. So those are all out of there. Next up is going to be removing this clutch lever, because I think the clutch cable should be able to be removed by removing this lever. So we're going to move around to the other side and attempt that. Okay, now that we're on this side of the bike, I'm going to go ahead and loosen up this top screw here in an effort to remove this clutch lever, excuse me. Been in there for a long time, and that's going to probably fight me a little bit. I'm guessing for now we're going to soak this with a little bit of PB Blast. I'm running out, unfortunately. I'll flip it over the other side here. That may end up requiring heat. We're going to let that sit for a little while. Worst case scenario, I can't pull it off just yet, and I have to do it after the fact. I'm hoping not to do that. I could cut the clutch cable. I don't want to. I'm not sure if there's enough room to pull it out of there that way. I don't feel like that's a good way to do it. And I see that the cable is fraying, so it might not be a bad idea just to clip it, since it is in bad shape, and call it good. Well, when in doubt, use the cutoff wheel. I'm going to cut through this, hopefully gently, and be able to get this apart. As you can see, I've cut that off. That's nice now. I know I still have to deal with this end here, which I'll do in a little bit. I do need to get that screw out yet. Hopefully while it's soaking, that'll make all the difference in the world. But for now, I can actually, kind of work on this a little bit better. Maybe even remove the head unit here. I'm gonna try this screw one more time just to see if it'll go. Of course, the bottom is turning too, so I'm going to put vice grips on that. So that's a future project. For now, let's get this head unit off, and then I'll work on that later. Maybe stick that in a vise or something. Not sure. Channel locks will be enough to get on there. I really don't want to take it off because I know I'll fight it the whole way once I do get it off. All right, we'll move you guys back over to this side so you can kind of see what I'm doing. I have an 11mm bolt right here. That's what's holding the head in place. So I've got a socket wrench here. I'll go ahead and loosen this up a little bit so we can pull this. Never taken this all the way apart. I've never taken one of these apart at all. So I'm not sure if this has to come all the way out or just back out quite a ways or what. So we're going to back it out as far as it goes. Looks like it stops there, so it doesn't completely all the way remove. One thing I did forget about is the rear brake cable. I'm not sure if that one's going to turn either. Let's see if we can get that undone real quick. All right, we'll throw a few more sparks here and get this disconnected. Okay, I ended up cutting the front brake cable off as well. We're going to go back to trying to attempt to remove this head unit here. I should take a picture of the wiring for the headlight first, so that way I have that as well. Back the wiring out, and then I should be able to hopefully yank this headstock off here. Probably should hit it with a little bit of PB blast just in case. Should help it out a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and get these wires out of here now while that's soaking. Be careful, there's a broken bulb in there. I really don't want that in my hand. I did order a wiring harness for this, and I do hope that's going to be the correct one. I noticed inside the fuel tank area here, where there is a mouse nest in there, it's an old one, that some of the wires were chewed on, and obviously can't have that, it's not going to work. Anyway, that's out of the way. Let's see if we can pull this. All right, as you can see, we've got the head off now. I can see everything here. I can see my bearings are going to need to be re-greased. And obviously all my cables are ready to be pulled and yanked around and put wherever. And this is kind of what I was going for today. I wanted to get to this point so I could see where everything was going here. I know I'll need to yank the gas tank next. I'll need a hand to do that. It's kind of a two-person job. I know one person can really do it, but it's nice to have an extra hand, someone pushing on that fuel shut-off there and lifting the tank and moving things around. This is more of a bear than I thought it was going to be. It kind of was a pain in the butt. But I've got it off now, and that's as far as I'm going to go for today because that's all the time I've got. I know every day kind of looks the same where I just don't have enough time to do anything. But I've got it to this point, and if I have time later, I'll pick this back up and we'll see what else we can do. So stay tuned for that. Well, friends, I appreciate you guys following along. It's kind of a simple process getting the headstock off of a Vespa. You know, it's a couple pieces you got to worry about. Obviously, with these older ones, they're a little easier because they are a two-piece unit, which is super convenient. Makes it nice to be able to get them off that way you can get to all the controls and whatnot rather than trying to get from underneath, which I know we'll face on some of the later models when my brother and I start putting them together. I wanted to run you guys through this process, kind of show you what I had going, and then of course, you know, get some feedback from you guys on what you think. If you think it's the right way to do these or the wrong way to do these, you know, please let me know. As always, you know, I appreciate you guys following along. If you liked the video and you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up or a like. If you got friends that are doing this type of stuff too, send it to them. You know, share it with anybody. I don't mind. It's nice to get my, you know, my page out and get my videos out and people to see, you know, exactly what I'm working on, which is all kinds of crazy things. You know, I know I've got a lot of projects at the shop too, and I hope to get back to those soon. Yeah. So anyway, that's it for today. I appreciate you guys. We'll catch you next time.